As I attend the closings for my clients, whether it's a purchase or a refinance, every so often I have a client who looks down the list of fees and says, "What are these title fees? Why am I paying this? This title company, all they're doing is sitting here notarizing. Why am I paying them so much money?" So today I wanted to discuss with you a little bit and share with you what is title insurance, why do we need it, how much does it cost, and do you really need it? My name's Miles Pitcher. I'm the owner of Superior Lending. I've been in the business 21 years. So what is title insurance? Title insurance is intended to protect two parties, the homeowner and the lender. And they do that through two different types of policies. One's the owner's policy, one's the lender's policy, hence the names. But really what they are doing is protecting you against damages or financial loss from bad title or defects in the title. I'll give you some examples here in a minute of what some of those could be. Let's talk first about the owner's title policy. And this occurs when there is a sale and purchase of property. Typically in Utah, you will see this listed on your loan estimate. It'll say owner's title insurance, and it will say in parentheses optional. We don't want you to think of it as being optional. The risk of not having this is too great. You really need to have it. But in Utah, the majority of the time, that cost of that owner's title policy is covered by this seller in the transaction. It could vary from state to state, and I've had some transactions where the seller said that is the responsibility of the buyer. But what this is it protects you as an owner. The title company is going to search back through not only this home, but also the land, and look back at all the transfers and history of this property. And they're making sure that there has been valid and clean transfers all along the way. Past liens and encumbrances have been paid off, and everything that's can be discovered on it has been discovered, so that you know that when you're taking ownership to this property, you have clear and clean title to the property. By the way, it also, this policy will extend not only to you, but if you pass away, it will cover your heirs. So it's pretty cool that way. And it's a one-time fee that's only paid one time on the purchase of the property. Let me give you some examples. I'm going to run through a list of some situations where you could be in trouble if you didn't have an owner's title policy, or basically what the owner's title policy can protect you against. First, errors in public records. We've seen it happen. There are clerical errors and mistakes that happen. This protects you. Unknown liens from previous owners could pop up. Illegal deeds, transferring title from one person or entity to another that were illegally done. Missing heirs. An owner passed away, previous owner passed away, and an heir was undiscovered. Forgeries do happen. It protects you against forgeries. Undiscovered encumbrances. An encumbrance means a lien or a debt that's tied to that property. Easements, unknown easements. This is one where an easement grants access, or either like a driveway or utilities through your property. And if there are unknown ones, that could cause you some serious problems in the future. And there are government agencies that have easements, or third parties easements through properties. You want to make sure that those are discovered and known about. If they're not, this is where your title policy is going to protect you. Boundary survey disputes. I had a client call me about a month ago who is engaged in a boundary dispute with their neighbor. Their title policy, owner's title policy, will cover them. Undiscovered will, or a false impersonation of a previous owner. Boy, that's starting to pop up more and more under these forgeries or false impersonations. a great reason to have this owner's title policy there to protect you. Let's talk about lender's title policies. So as the name suggests, this is a policy to protect the lender. However, the homeowner is the one who gets to pay this. And it's a little bit different in that this policy says or ensures that the lender's lien or their mortgage lien is recorded in very first position against the property, so that if there is ever a default, a collection process, a foreclosure process, that they are first in line to get their money back for what they are owed. There is really no lender out there now that will issue a loan to you without having that lender's title policy in place to protect them. If you don't want to pay for the lender's title policy, well, buy the property in cash, and then one will not be required. How much does it cost for title insurance? It depends on what state you're in. Title fees, by the way, are state regulated. So from title company to title company, or you may call them escrow companies, the fees are going to be very regulated, very similar, and not hardly any variation there. Typically, the variations we see are in the closing fee that is charged. These title fees are one-time fees. You only pay them at the time you purchase the property, is when you pay the owner's policy. And like I said, usually a seller may cover that for you. The lender's policy happens every time you get a mortgage. So if you do it at the purchase, you're going to pay for it. If you do refinance, you'll pay for it again. The range is going to depend on where you're at, but it could be $500 to $3,500 in that range. So do you really need these policies in place? Well, I've shared with you that no lender's going to give you a loan without having it. And then as far as the owner's title policy, I would tell you you're crazy to buy a property without having that owner's title policy in place. This is one of the biggest financial decisions you're making of your life. It can be one of the greatest wealth building financial decisions you make. Without that owner's title policy, the damages and financial loss that could potentially come at you from a mistake or clerical error or a forgery or something from a prior owner could actually cause financial disaster for you. So you want to make sure it's there and it's in place. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope this helps in understanding why it's necessary and why we need the title insurance to protect ourselves. Have a great week. We'll be back with another tip next week. Let's take a minute and check out what's happening with our interest rates. Today's September 21st, 2022 was Fed Day. The Federal Reserve met, and they, as totally expected, they raised the Fed funds rate 75 basis points. This has already been priced into our mortgage rates. We've known about it. It's coming. The big thing that we are watching is what the comments and the stance of the Federal Reserve was or is moving forward. And they reiterated their commitment to getting inflation down. Their role is to create price stability. And so they want to get inflation down to 2%. The tool that they use in doing that is raising the Fed funds rate. So there's a very good chance that we're going to have another raise in November and another raise in December. We're watching closely to see what happens. But as you look at the chart here, you can see it's an inverse chart. So as this chart moves down, rates are moving up. And finally today, you can see how there's been a slight reversal in the chart. So hopefully we have a nice few days of rates getting better on us. We'll be continuing to watch what's going on with the inflation and the consumer price index and all the things that point to what's happening.